The Herbert Wigwe University is an educational legacy that must be supported to achieve the aim of the vision bearer. This was the consensus at the final homegoing ceremony of the co-founder and chief executive of Access Group, Herbert Wigwe, his wife Chizoba, and son Chizi in Isiokpo, Rivers State. Ovietema George has the details.
May the 23rd, 2023, a second private university comes on stream in Rivers State with the laying of the foundation of the Herbert Wigwe University.
Courage is not the absence of fear.
9 months later, the vision bearer and chief executive officer of Access Holdings dies with his wife and son in a helicopter crash in California, United States of America. After a series of programs and tributes to the Wigwes in Lagos, family, friends, and business associates converge on the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Lion of Judah Parish, Isiokpo, for the order of funeral service for Herbert, Chizoba, and Chizi Wigwe, where the caskets conveying the remains of the trio are borne by pallbearers.
He has made a great contribution to humanity. We, as a government, will do everything with the Wigwe Foundation to immortalize. One thing that has his name is the Wigwe University. We'll continue to live just as he has planned it.
The high and the mighty will learn a lesson from this death. And begin to see what they can do to help society grow the way Herbert has touched lives. I think that Herbert is even larger in death than life.
All the business concerns, the only one that seemed to bear his name or the Wigwe's name is the university. And personally, he had gone to televisions to personally advertise the school and all that are therein contained. And he just said that it's going to be the pride of the continent. I do not know who, again, carries the kind of vision he carries in that school.
The Wigwe University is a project the 57-year-old billionaire bank executive holds very dear to his heart, and Nigerians, including Senate President Godswill Akpabio, want that legacy preserved.
The university has left behind was because of his passion for education. He helped and educated a lot of people. Like I said, so many are enshrined in his heart because he sent so many to the educational citadels across the world. The university is not only for Nigeria, it's for the entire global community. So just like he was a global banker, chairman of bankers in Nigeria, opening branches all over the place, he actually also has left a legacy in education that he will be remembered for the years to come. I regarded him as a global citizen, an icon of the world that we have lost, and it's very unfortunate that he died together with his wife and his first son, and that's the tragedy that I pray that Nigeria should never witness this again, and may it never happen to any family.
To establish one of the university that would have been the best, and is still going to be the best in the world, is one legacy that he has left that everybody in Isiokpo, in Rivers State, in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole, will continue to remember him for.
Education is one of those things that has seen Herbert get to where he is, and that's why he's pushing education so that the next generation would also find this as worth it. It's been a legacy, it's been a life worth living. It's something that is very painful, but we'll make sure that Wigwe University leaves the legacy that it was set out to leave.
Many Nigerians, including former governors, attended the funeral service in Isiokpo, hometown of the Wigwes. The trio of Herbert, Chizoba, and Chizi may have departed this world, but their life-impacting legacies are etched in the memories of those who had come to witness their final homegoing ceremony. but most notably is education, which is the foundation block for the successful youth tomorrow. From Isiokpo, headquarters of Ikwere local government area of Rivers State, Ofieteme George, Arise News.
Meanwhile, the governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, during the funeral, challenged political office holders to use their power, money, and influence to uplift the vulnerable in the country. Fubara made the request at the combined funeral service at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Lion of Judah Parish, Isiokpo, in honor of the Group Executive Officer, Access Bank Holdings, Dr. Herbert Wigwe, his wife, Chizoba, and son, Chizi. Our correspondent, Andy Omano, has the details.
And so, like all mortals, the remains of Herbert, wife and son have been interred. The combined church service preceding the private funeral was attended by dignitaries from within and outside Nigeria. Governor Fubara's admonition was applauded by many in the over 1,000 seating capacity Redeemed Christian Church of God auditorium, seated on a 48 acres of land.
Everyone has come to celebrate them. It means even the short period that he lived an impactful life. He has made a great contribution to humanity. And that takes me to the next question. And this one has to do with our political class. What is all this struggle all about? You want to kill, you want to bury. What is it all about? This is a man. He's not a politician. He made his money through us, our investment. He has the world in his palm, financially. He controls even the political classes. But today, with all the power financially, couldn't control life. Is it not enough for us to ask ourselves, why are we struggling?
Dignitaries speak on the good-naturedness of Herbert and lessons the living stands to learn from his short but impactful life.
Herbert was an iconic, he was a people's person. I believe he was a friend and a brother to all that came across him. Together with his brother, they raised Access Bank to a level of among the first in Nigeria, considering their ages. So number one, considering their ages, you can see that their hard work paid off. So let me also extend the condolences of the federal government to the father and the mother of the late Herbert Wigwe.
Is a financial guru. About life, from my own perspective, is that this guy is like a man who saw tomorrow. He dreamt and he followed his dream to the letter. And coming back home to establish one of the universities that would have been the best, and is still going to be the best in the world, is one legacy that he has left that everybody in Isiokpo, in Rivers State, in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole, will continue to remember him for.
It's been a legacy, it's been a life worth living. It's something that is very painful, but we'll make sure that Wigwe University leaves the legacy that it was set out to leave.
My prayer is for humans to take a little leaf from the life of Herbert Wigwe. He was a man who gave and gave and gave more of himself, and he taught us how to give. He is a giant, and he made us giants. May God have mercy on his soul and give him and his beautiful wife and son and all the people that were lost in this fatal accident eternal rest.
Another message that we need to take away from here is that Herbert Wigwe was not a politician, a man who worked hard all his life, and he was able to struggle hard enough, and he's using the reward to help community, to help humanity. And I think that more than any other thing, that is what he will be remembered for.
Herbert, his wife Chizoba, and son Chizi were buried in a befitting private tomb located within the massive expanse of the Wigwe University environment. Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength, is the inscription embossed on the top corner of the mausoleum, a sight worthy of billionaires. No doubt, the sight of the transparent private cemetery is a clear testament to the fact that Herbert was not just rich while alive, but even richer in death. Is Andy Omano, reporting from Isiokpo, Ikwere local government area, Rivers State, for Arise News.
The late Herbert, his wife Doreen Wigwe, and Chizi Wigwe have been laid to rest. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Yesterday at the ceremony, Steve Shator, and at the funeral, and at this why it was quite solemn, because it was a vivid reminder that life is just, we're so vulnerable. And you could hear everyone there eulogizing the late Herbert Wigwe, talking about the fact that he's a global icon, an educator, and he has really impacted humanity in so many ways. Governor Sim Fubara, made a valid point, which is the fact that with everything Herbert has, all the money he has, he wasn't able to control his death. What is life? Life really is about impacting people. And that is why he was celebrated in the way that he was celebrated, because of the impact that he has made. A pastor there also said, if the president died, would he have gotten this type of funeral? Because, it was such a huge loss. It is such a huge loss for the country, which goes back to the Wigwe University. When I walked in there, I was in awe. Beautiful landscape, beautiful area there in Isiokpo, and you could see the impact the Wigwe University will make eventually in the near future. May their souls rest in peace again.
Amen.
Adeswa.
Well, I think, the week leading up to the funeral, there were countless services and tributes that were given to Herbert, to Doreen, and to Chizi. And I think each and every one of them, even Mr. Onabanjo, who also died and whose service was before, this accident is a tragedy for the nation, for the continent, and for people of the world. It definitely is a shock to everyone's system. And I pray that the university continues to uphold his legacy, the beautiful tributes given by his friends, by Sanusi Lamido, by Dangote. They show the type of person he was, not just as a leader, but as a father and a friend. And it shows us that the most important thing in this life is the impact, the legacy, and how you make other people feel. And I think that that's something that Herbert Wigwe has shown the whole world and the whole country.
Absolutely. Shaito, a good lesson to learn from
Definitely. I think, my biggest takeaway from all of this, I'd only, ever met him in like a public event, not necessarily a one-on-one relationship. But when someone as great as this, passes away, it really does give we humans, that still remain on this side, that recognizance to kind of think about the kind of lives that we live, and it just makes us reflect. There's so many people in that room yesterday. You were there yesterday, the highest, we had, ex-presidents, governors, ex-governors, just people who really wanted to just come and bid him farewell. And that just, like Adesua said, speaks to the kind of person he was. And I have to say that it has definitely inspired me to almost like look back and start to think about how I also make people feel, because it's about how, you know, that journey, when it comes to an end, that's all that people are going to have to be able to make reference to you. And of course, even the late son Chizi and his wife as well. A beautiful ceremony, very unfortunate circumstances, and I know that their memories will not be fading away anytime soon.
Absolutely, well said, Sheto. I mean, Steve, in terms of the Wigwe University, Ovieteme's first report there was, you know, highlighting how much impact Herbert Wigwe intended to make in that university. And you could see that, you know, some people were camping there, and people that stayed at the university talked about how beautiful the space was.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a tragedy that raised. I like the fact that you are singling out the university as one of his core legacies. Universities are not about structures or buildings, it's about the knowledge that they will impart, and that's where we will hope that the legacy of Herbert Wigwe will come forth, will shine, you know, to the world. It isn't about the structures. It isn't about the building. It isn't about whether you pay in dollars or in pounds or in naira, or how much you pay, by the way. It's the knowledge that will be imparted to people there. And I just hope that that dream will not die. I think that it's been well celebrated. One of the key things that spoke to his humanity was what former Emir Lamido Sanusi said, that people have known, they've seen who he was as a banker and as an entrepreneur. But of course, as over the course of his funeral, you know, all through the week, that people will see his humanity. And I think that that's what we saw. Two things very quickly stood out for me, maybe not for the best of reasons. Yesterday, at the last rites for the funeral, the needless politicization of that solemn, somber event, especially by the Senate President, with his needless response to what, you know, Governor Fubara said about, you know, life being transient, and why you don't need to struggle too much, you know, for positions and for power.
Which is a valid point.
Very, very valid.
Absolutely valid. But to politicize it the way that the Senate President did, I think belittled him and insulted, you know, the occasion.
Insulted the essence of the occasion.
And the family.
And the family, you know, it was needless. I also saw that the coffin for Herbert was draped in Access Bank's, you know, image and everything. I'm not so sure what to make of that, particularly for an individual. I know that when you bury a former head of state or something like that, you know, you usually drape their casket in the flag of the country, you know, given that they were about the country. But you won't find the name Nigeria on it. It's just a flag. I wasn't too sure. Of course, I will imagine that there was a reason why they needed to drape his casket, singling him out of that of his wife, you know, outside of his wife and of his son. I wasn't sure what message that was meant to convey.
Well, given the fact that he also has the HOW Foundation as well as the Wigwe University, I mean, he was not just a man for Access Bank, he was a man of many. Yes, those were the conversations that were out there.
Exactly.
But I mean, Access Bank has a way of doing their, you know, things, and, you know, I suppose they sponsored the entire event, and, you know, he was their group
even at that,
CEO.
It wasn't Access that was winning.
Yes.
But I'm very happy you called out what the Senate President said, because I do believe that careless speaking does belittle not only his self, but his office. It is absolutely abhorrent to politicize a burial of a family. 3 members of one family died, and he decided to stand there and make jokes and make political jibes. Absolutely shameful.
Yes.
Absolutely shameful.
It was an uncultured...
And tried to find a way to make it about himself when it really wasn't about himself.
Definitely
Well
not.
said, you all. Again, may their souls rest in perfect peace.
Absolutely.